In the final episode of Yellowstone, there is only one more episode left. Yellowstone, the critically acclaimed television show created by Taylor Sheridan, has only 2 episodes left out of its total run. In light of the fact that tensions are rising on the ranch and there is only a short amount of time left to bring the 5-season series to a close, here is what we know and what fans are guessing about the outcomes of the last episodes. First, a brief recap of the 12th episode of the 5th season, which was titled Counting Coup. To begin, what exactly does it mean to say counting coup? Casey Dutton, who is portrayed by Luke Grimes, displayed his ferocious side in the episode that served as the program's season finale. The fact that he has a background in the military is not something that he mentions in great depth very often. In the program that aired the week before, viewers got a personal look at his powers. It was via his training that he was able to locate and face the one who had been hired to assassinate his father. As a means of protecting his family, Casey intimidated the man rather than pursuing retribution for his actions. Before he left the difficult scenario, he struck the man on the side of the head and told him that he now carried a portion of his soul. He then left the situation immediately. What exactly does it mean when he says that he counted coup? On the website of the Encyclopedia of the Great Plains, the term counting coup is defined as follows: although killing was an inevitable element of combat, demonstrating bravery during the conflict was more significant for determining an individual's rank. Getting near enough to the opponent to touch or strike him with the hand, a weapon, or a coup stick was the most effective way to accomplish this goal. This was accomplished by taking a risk and rushing the enemy on foot or horseback. The essence of it was that it was a method of humiliating your adversary without having to kill them, ensuring that they were aware that they had been vanquished while preventing them from losing their lives. What happened to the ranch hands in the 12th episode? There was a tragic death that may have been avoided that occurred in the previous episode, which included the ranch hands to a significant degree. In order to save a young ranch hand from a dangerous horse, Colby sacrificed his life. The characters went through a difficult time as a result of this sudden tragedy, particularly Rip, who blamed himself for the death because he could have finished off the horse earlier. In the course of their sorrow, the guys exposed a side of Beth Dutton that is rarely seen. Give the World Away is the 13th episode of the 5th season. What do we know about it? As the trailer for episode 13 begins, Beth and Rip get into a heated argument about the direction the ranch will take in the future. The question that Rip poses is, if you sell everything that we own, how am I supposed to run a ranch? When asked for her response, Beth stated, "There is no solution. All we are doing is buying time." This makes perfect sense, considering that the most prevalent fan theory proposes that the ranch would be transferred to the Indian Reservation Organization. This hypothesis came forth as a result of a discussion that took place in the prequel series 1883. In a prophecy that was given to the Dutton family by an Indian chief, it was stated that after 7 generations, the land will be taken away from them by the indigenous people. There is a probability that this will occur, particularly considering that the title of the episode is Give the World Away. Time is the only thing that can tell. In addition to the dispute that took place between Beth and Rip, there is also a phone call going on between Jamie and Beth that is menacing. In light of this, the issue arises as to whether or not the feud will be resolved in the subsequent episode. During the course of their phone conversation, Jamie's response is to declare, "You destroy me, you are the one who destroys oneself." After the conclusion of episode 12, you will be able to view the trailer for Yellowstone Season 5, episode 13. In the meantime, get ready for the confrontation that is going to take place between Jamie and Beth. The premiere of the 4th episode of the second half of the 5th season of Yellowstone took place this past Sunday, and it featured an increased number of deaths. On the basis of the most recent episode, the body count for Season 5, Part 2 is comprised of 3 humans and 1 horse. The number of casualties is even more startling when one considers that everything takes place during a single week of bloodshed on the Yellowstone Ranch, which is still suffering after the murder of patriarch John Dutton Kevin Costner in episode 9. In episode 11, which aired a week ago, assassins riding in minivans shot and killed Sarah Atwood, a lawyer who was planning her next move, played by Dawn Olivieri. Colonel Colby Mayfield, a ranch hand, is killed by a horse in a stall accident that occurred in the episode that aired on Sunday. The event resulted in the man-eater bull being shot. In light of the fact that the last episodes of Yellowstone Season 5 are drawing near, director Christina Voros has provided an explanation for Casey Luke Grimes performing a counting coup, as well as what this implies for the show. In the 12th episode of Yellowstone's 5th season, Casey discovers Grant, played by Matt Gerald, the individual responsible for the death of his father, John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, and threatens both Grant and his daughter. Invoking a counting coup, which is a Native American tradition that includes proving one's mettle to one's opponent in a non-threatening manner, is the decision that the former soldier makes. As a demonstration of his commitment to his family, this can be accomplished by knocking him out with the butt of his gun. It was noted by Voros in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that Casey's decision to use a counting coup when confronting Grant with John's death demonstrates that he is willing to fight for his family in Yellowstone. In her explanation, she explains that it is a time of significance for him, demonstrating that he is willing to protect the people he loves in ways that highlight the history that he is a witness to. Take a look at what Voros had to say in the following. "It is him who chooses his family, and it is him who chooses to fight for his family. And it is him who chooses to fight for his family in a manner that is true, not just to his own history, but also to the history of the family that he has married into. It appears to be predetermined." Casey, out of all the actors on Yellowstone, has been the one who has been the most determined to exact revenge for the loss of his father, despite the fact that they had a number of disagreements when his father was still alive. As evidenced by his threatening acts, which demonstrate that he is not yet finished, this most recent event demonstrates that he is willing to do whatever it takes to defend the people he loves about. Which, in this particular situation, includes exacting vengeance for the murder of his father and utilizing customs from his wife's culture in order to stress what he is willing to do. In addition, it gives the impression that he is not finished, as the 2 episodes that are still left on the show could potentially continue this tale. Given that the series is rapidly approaching its conclusion and that Yellowstone Season 6 is still a possibility that has not been confirmed, it would appear that Casey's journey will come to a conclusion with his determination to exact revenge upon Grant. The meaning of the phrase counting coup for the killer going forward is not entirely obvious nonetheless. There is a viable possibility that law enforcement will not be engaged in determining his ultimate fate. On the other hand, John's kid has not yet caused irreparable harm to the person who murdered his father. This indicates that whatever action he does in the future, it will most likely be something that is beneficial to his family and their safety regardless of the circumstances. Casey demonstrates his own morality by not directly killing the one who was responsible for the death of his father. He is doing everything in his power to protect himself and his family, despite the fact that he is seeking retribution. His current trajectory is a representation of how he is treating the matter from a mature perspective, even though that could alter in the remaining 2 episodes of Yellowstone. In light of the fact that this may very well be his last plotline in the show, it is currently unknown how he will interact with Grant as the season draws to a close. There are just 2 episodes left in Yellowstone Season 5, therefore it is officially time to start preparing for the last episode. So fasten your saddle and get ready for a ride that will take you by storm. In the 12th episode of the 5th season of Taylor Sheridan's popular Western drama, the Dutton Ranch suffered the loss of another cherished cowboy. Casey, played by Luke Grimes, counted the coup. And Jamie, played by Wes Bentley, was surrounded by law enforcement in the aftermath of Sarah's, played by Dawn Olivieri, mysterious death. The promo for episode 13 gives the impression that there are a few unresolved issues about the future of the ranch, as well as the competition between Jamie and Beth, played by Kelly Riley, which still needs to be resolved. With that in mind, you won't want to miss a single second of the penultimate episode and the highly anticipated finale of Season 5 that will air in the following weeks. In the event that you are anxiously anticipating Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, and are in need of some analysis to keep you occupied, we strongly recommend that you check out Decider's frame-by-frame critique of the Season 5, Part 2 trailer, as well as the review of the teaser for Season 5. Episode 13. According to the official calendar provided by Paramount, the 13th episode of Season 5 is appropriately titled Give the World Away and features the following synopsis: Jamie begins to spiral and later seeks advice. Rebecca and Travis come to an agreement. There is a plan that Casey has in mind for the future of the ranch. Part 1 of Yellowstone Season 5 consists of 8 episodes, and Part 2 will have an additional 6 episodes, which means that the season will have a total of 14 episodes once it is finished. If you have access to Paramount Network, you may tune in to the channel on Sundays to see new episodes and watch them as they are shown live. In addition, you may watch the event by using a live stream from the Paramount Network, which is available through Philo, Fubo TV, Sling TV, DirecTV Stream, or YouTube TV. Those who are curious should know that Philo, Fubo TV, and YouTube TV all provide free trials for users who meet the requirements. One of the most often asked questions about Yellowstone is whether or not the series will be made accessible to stream on Paramount. For those who are unaware, Yellowstone is shown on Paramount Network. Despite the fact that the answer might come as a surprise to you, unfortunately, previous episodes of Yellowstone as well as the new episodes of Season 5, Part 2 are not accessible to view on Paramount. On the other hand, here is where you can get caught up on the series. Fans of Yellowstone should be advised that new episodes will not be accessible for streaming on Peacock the following day, despite the fact that Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 will eventually be released on the platform. A particular date has not yet been revealed, however. Following the broadcast of Yellowstone's mid-season finale on Paramount Network on January 1st, 2023, the episodes did not make their debut on Peacock until May. This indicates that it may be several months before we are able to see Season 5 Part 2 on Peacock. Keep an eye out for any new information. Do you want to watch new or old episodes of Yellowstone, or do you want to catch up on them? Peacock offers a streaming service that streams all 5 seasons of Yellowstone. Peacock is not the only thing that can be purchased on Amazon. You can also buy individual episodes of Yellowstone as well as complete seasons of the show. As soon as new episodes are broadcast on Paramount Network, they are also made available for purchase on Amazon the next morning for purchase. As a result of the fact that the first part of the 5th season ended on a cliffhanger, which suggested that the Dutton family might be in for a full-blown civil war, we have been left waiting for almost 2 years. As a short recap, nothing is really that different from the way that this program typically goes, although it is a little bit more extreme than usual. Jamie Dutton is the object of Beth Dutton's Kelly Riley hatred. Beth Dutton is the object of Jamie Dutton's Wes Bentley hatred. As far back as childhood trauma is concerned, this has always been the case. However, things have reached a new level. According to the story, their father, John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, is currently serving as the governor of Montana. Jamie, who ought to be his most brilliant legal mind, is instead being portrayed by a group of local investors known as market equities. In any case, Jamie and Beth are currently attempting to kill each other, and John appears to be on the verge of being convinced to support Beth's position. Taking into consideration Kevin Costner's exit from the show, which was made public, this is going to make the second part of the 5th season of the show very interesting. To cut a long story short, he left to work on his Horizon films and then disappeared without a trace. In the absence of John, how will Yellowstone proceed with the continuation of that storyline? There is still a great deal up in the air, and as a consequence, it makes the season a little bit more exciting than it already was. Obviously, our other characters are continuing to operate in the same manner as before. Rip, played by Cole Hauser, is acting in a Rip-like manner. Casey, played by Luke Grimes, is in charge of the ranch, and his wife, Monica, played by Kelsey Isbill, is still struggling to come to terms with the sadness of losing their unborn boy. Costner and Isbill bonded after the funeral, which was one of the most impressive moments of the season on the acting front. And the list goes on and on. Those who work on the ranch. Have you heard of those guys? To be fair, they are also acting in the same manner. On the other hand, we do have some really high stakes to pick up, and beginning on Sunday, November 10th, we are going to pick them up. It does not matter if Kevin Costner is present or absent. What's the next additional twist? Despite the fact that we had always believed that the Yellowstone story would come to an end with the conclusion of Season 5, Part 2, a sequel series called Madison, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, is currently in the works. There have been reports that Yellowstone may in fact continue for a sixth season with Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley playing the roles of Rip and Beth. Indeed, that is the case.